Hello, and welcome back to another episode of BB True Crime. I'm Beth.
This is Becky.
Becky is currently dying at the minute.
Fun times.
They have the lurgy.
I do.
So if you hear any coughing or crunching, since they're eating cucumber, it's fine. It's fine. They'll survive.
Maybe. I might survive. I also might end up being one of your cases.
I would not be best pleased.
Okay.
I'm
just saying.
No.
No.
So, yes. So apologies for that. Just means that for once they might be a little bit quieter.
What does that feel like?
It just gives me flashbacks to the first few episodes.
I want to sat there eating. Being like,
So this one is episode 24. We are doing these, we're recording them slightly out of order. Just, for time and that kind of thing.
We've got to slot them in as much as possible.
But, it's fine. So this is 24. Right? Number 24. I was also crazy mad busy yesterday with the podcast, and I have planned out the episodes until episode 40, so...
You know when she just casually goes and prepares like over 50 an episode?
My boredom has been strong. So bored. So bored.
The boredom is
I'm
strong.
so bored.
Okay.
All the time, yeah.
You have a PlayStation.
Well, it's like you're not really in the mood for it.
She's not in the mood for it, apparently.
Yeah. So, this one is actually a requested episode. From Daddy Dave. Promise you it's not Daddy in a weird sense.
It's the Uncle Dave.
Yes.
Yes.
We have permission for the nickname, I'm just gonna say. Anyway, moving on.
You had to, didn't you? You just couldn't just call him Dave.
I'm sorry. No, I couldn't, because we call him Daddy Dave. You even call him Daddy Dave, and he's not your daddy.
It's got weird. I'm going to eat my cucumber.
Well, we are weird, and we have a weird podcast, so...
You're weird.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm normal.
Okay. So...
Disrespect!
You're my best friend, you can't be normal. It's not logically possible.
Okay.
You've been accepted into my family, we're all weird.
Fair.
My brother doesn't think so, but
Your mother may take obsession to that, but okay.
No, she also is well aware. So anyway, getting to the case after 3 minutes in. So what Daddy Dave, I'm just gonna keep it in there, has requested.
What's that? Oh, there you go.
So that just say leave for uni.
Yeah. It's one of my wake up alarms.
We're not.
One of my wake up alarms.
Please change the name of that. We don't do that anymore.
And that just trigger you?
It did. It just flashbacks like I just got PTSD from the war. Never again.
Tell me about the case.
So, Daddy Dave has requested a nice Scottish murder. Set in Edinburgh, where he currently is residing.
Nice.
And they are called. But prior to this, I'd never heard of this case before. So it was.
Which is impressive.
Yeah, and it was interesting to research. So it is called The World's End Murders, not like that World's End movie.
Yes.
No idea if they're related at all, but probably not.
Probably not, no.
I think that's a comedy. It's that Simon Pegg one.
I feel like this is going to have very little comedy in it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Alright, so let's crack on. Get into it.
Let's do it.
So, The World's End Murders is the name given to the murder of two girls.
Okay.
So not serial killer, two deaths. Christine Eady, who was 17, and Helen Scott, who was also 17.
Helen Scott.
I'm sure I've had a therapist by that exact same name before. Moving on. And obviously, like I said, in Edinburgh, and this was set in October 1977.
Oh, okay.
So, what happened to these two
what
ladies.
What did happen?
I'll tell you.
Tell me, please.
So, it was the night of the 15th of October.
October?
Yeah, shut up. 1977.
Okay.
Christine and Helen, like I said, both 17,
yep.
were seen leaving the pub called the World's End, hence the name of the murders.
Nice.
Located on the high street of the Royal Mile.
Okay.
That sounds fancy. At closing time. The next day, Christine's naked body was discovered in Gosford Bay by some hill walkers.
Damn.
Or hikers, or whatever. It said hill walkers, and I was just like, why can't you just say hikers?
Because they didn't want to, Beth.
They just wanted to walk on hills, I guess.
Yeah.
Just specifically hills.
Yeah,
Only hills.
Only hills.
Only hills.
They must forever be walking at a gradual incline.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just a gradual decline.
Yep.
Yeah. Constantly. Helen's body was then found unclothed 6 miles away from Christine's body, in a corn stubble field. Now, I don't know what a corn stubble field is, but I'm going to assume there's corn in it, and that it's a field.
Correct.
But I don't know what the fuck a corn stubble field
is. If anybody knows what that is, please, dear God, let us know.
Is that a Scottish thing? Because I've never heard of that. Daddy Dave, please help.
Save us, Scotsman.
Yeah. Both girls had been beaten, gagged, tied up, raped, and strangled.
Wow.
Exactly.
There's a whole fuck ton going on there.
Yeah. No attempt was made by the person who committed the crimes to cover up the bodies at all. Just out in the open.
Okay.
In the fields.
Well, I mean, fair enough.
Or the hills. So this person, if we're taking like a psychology look at it.
Psychological look,
yeah. Clearly wanted to disrespect the girls, didn't care for the girls because he's left them just out in the open.
Used and abused.
Naked, dead.
Mm-hmm. That's a big point, don't forget the dead bit.
Yeah, they're very dead. And they also at the same time want it sort of known. Because,
bragging. Catch me if you can.
The bodies are literally just there to be discovered.
Found.
Yeah. So the police actually had a list of over 500 suspects. So I don't know what's happening over in Edinburgh for there to be that many suspects, because that's quite a few. Damn.
If I'm ever murdered, I want to be murdered in Edinburgh.
Jesus.
And at least there's going to be a list of 500 suspects.
Well, yeah. They took over 13,000 statements, ripped their time.
Someone was doing overtime.
And was still
stumped.
Unable to capture the suspect.
Oh dear, sweet Mary Mother of God.
Yeah. So, the media obviously reported the case. They also reported that there had been several witnesses that had seen the two girls sitting near a public telephone in the World's End pub, talking with two men.
Okay.
Neither of these men were able to be traced, even though there were several witnesses. And obviously they weren't about to
come forward, no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Pretty clear they were the last ones to see the girls alive, so it's a bit sus.
Let's not do that.
Yeah. Even more sus that they wouldn't go to the police as well.
If you were the last person to see somebody alive and you didn't have an alibi...
Well, it depends on if I was, involved, because, obviously, I'm not saying I'm about to be involved in any crimes, but, I just wanted to clarify that.
Important disclaimer.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, if it was, even someone that I didn't know, I'd want to help somehow, and, maybe something... Yeah, I'd be seen probably as a suspect, but at the same time...
You see, the fact that I'd be seen as a suspect would have me hesitating.
Yeah, I'd hesitate a little bit, but I think I'd rather just be okay, maybe it'll help somehow.
I don't know whether I'd do it.
Yeah, I don't know. But it depends on if you're in that situation, but I don't know. To me, it seems a bit more dodgy that they didn't.
That's fair.
So, speculation started going around that the killings had been the work of these two men, obviously increased, especially when it was revealed that the knots used to tie the girls' hands behind their backs were different types of knots.
Oh, normally two different people there.
Yeah. So in May 1978, so a few years after, the police announced that they were going to be slowing down the investigation.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So they obviously because it was obviously in the 70s, DNA wasn't the best at the time.
It was a bit unreliable at that point,
They didn't have as much as we have today. But they did have profile, obviously, of a male on both girls. The DNA of the original 500 suspects was analysed and compared to the sample, but there wasn't a match.
Okay.
So, at least they tried.
Yeah, definitely.
They definitely seem a lot more competent than a few of the other police we've dealt with in cases before. Out here losing evidence.
Sweet Mary, Mother of God, there's some idiots out there.
There are, yeah. So, years later, and I'm talking decades later, we're in 2003 now.
Jesus, okay.
On the 8th of October, so we're in October again.
Okay.
Have you ever seen BBC's Crime Watch?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course I have.
So the case actually appeared on the programme.
Oh, okay.
So they did that
was what Dave was telling me about.
Yeah, they did a little reconstruction. And were like, if you know anything or might have seen literally anything, because it's such a cold case now, help.
Please God, tell us.
Yeah. So they actually did receive... Actually, they received quite a few phone calls, actually. But they received a phone call from a man who claimed he was walking near Gosford Bay on the night of the murders, and that he saw a suspicious vehicle. He said it was a works van, so I'm assuming almost like construction-y.
Works is normally like waterworks or like sewage works.
Yeah, something like that. And that it was being driven erratically. But from that Crime Watch episode alone, they received 130 phone calls.
Damn.
Yeah.
Shit, okay.
From witnesses that had not previously made themselves known to police. So I'm guessing, if you didn't want to,
138 people.
130.
130 people who had seen something.
Yeah, but maybe they didn't know that they'd seen something.
It's impressive, though, because if you imagine, in the process of being murdered, unbeknownst to other people you're being murdered, you must be seen by so many people who don't have a clue what they have just seen.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. Yeah.
Like, if I were to be murdered in this city, there would be at least a couple of hundred people who would see something and not know it.
Yeah, whether it's walk past you... But it's like,
see the disagreement.
How often do you walk past someone and just don't really acknowledge the person?
So often, every day.
Especially in a city,
you walk past hundreds of people I mean, you don't because you don't leave the house, but...
Well, no, but when I did, yeah. And you know what? The thing is, especially in cities, and obviously this is in Edinburgh, it's a capital city.
Yeah.
You see weird shit all the time.
Oh god, you do.
The amount of weird shit I've seen in Leeds.
Do you remember the homeless wizard who was smoking weed by the bus bin?
Possibly.
Yeah. Incredible.
I remember I was on my way back from work once and I walked past, I think it was the little Tesco's.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the one near where I worked, it was the one at the top. If you're going to the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking past there, and there was this homeless-looking man and a woman, and all of a sudden, the man grabs the bag out of the woman's hand, and then she's in his face screaming, and she's like, "Give me my booze back!" And he's like, "It's my booze, what are you talking about? You took it from me." And I was there like, what the fuck is happening? But the thing is, I didn't intervene. I was like, I'm not getting involved.
No, don't get involved.
I'm not. I don't fully know who's right and who's wrong here.
Exactly.
Like,
don't get me wrong. If I was a big 6 foot imposing man, I might get involved. But I'm like,
well, you don't know though, because maybe she did take it from him originally. I don't know.
I know, but I'm 5'6" of. Don't know what the fuck I am. Yeah. It's not happening, lad. Anyway, back to the case.
But then it's like no one else stepped in. People were just there laughing. Mm-hmm. But it's like I saw that. But then if I'd seen someone got murdered the next day, I'd be like, oh, better go and
ooh.
Yeah.
But I suppose as well, even with the pictures, we're not trained to take that much detail
and what
in situations.
The pictures just don't look familiar.
Exactly.
As that person in the minute.
Yeah. If your recollection doesn't immediately go, hey, that looks like the girl I saw yesterday, then you're just not going to think anything of it.
That's the thing as well. It's I'm not good with faces.
Yeah.
So it's even if I'd have been telling you about this, which probably did, when I'd gotten back from work, I'd literally only seen it about 20 minutes or so prior. I won't be able to tell you what they look like. No fucking clue.
Yeah.
So I'm not really surprised.
It is unsurprising that...
Especially in the capital city.
Yeah.
Where I'm assuming there's more people than what would be in Leeds, for example. But so, yeah, we're in 2003. So, they're trying the DNA again, because it's been a few years.
Things might have changed.
So, a sample did partially match over 200 profiles that were already in the database. So, we've sort of got it down from 500 to 200. The next year, November 2004, someone was detained.
Oh!
A man called Angus Robertson Sinclair.
Angus, what a Scottish name.
It is quite a Scottish name, yeah. And obviously he did live in Edinburgh at the time of the murders as well. He was detained in connection with the murders.
Okay.
They took mouth swabs, but not really anything came of it.
Okay.
So it wasn't actually until 2005 that he was detained and arrested.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, so I don't know if he was in jail during this time or if he was out on bail, but his trial wasn't until 2007. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so quite a bit of time passed there. So, obviously, people were saying about there being two men.
Yeah. Two different knots.
Yeah. So, Sinclair actually did have a brother-in-law. However, called Gordon Hamilton. However, he died since then. Which is very typical.
He died.
Yeah, so they could only really try one person. But it did match the description and the knowledge that there had been two men.
Yeah. Apologies about that. We just had to take a quick coughing break. I was about to have a coughing fit.
It was.
Love that for me.
It was a journey. But keep with the tea and the water.
Yeah, I will. I promise.
Okay, so. Right, we're at the trial. So
okay.
Like I said, matched the thing that there were two men, blah, blah. So it was thought that they had persuaded, while they were in the bar with the girls, or forced the girls into their motor vehicle and held them against their will. One of them then drove Christine to Gosford Bay, and either there or somewhere else attacked, stripped, and gagged her with her own underwear.
That's just insulting.
Yeah. And then tied her wrists, and then raped and killed her by obviously strangulation. He was later also accused of raping and murdering their friend in a same way, and driving her to the road near Haddington and then putting her in the field there. The cornfield. Corn stubble. Still whatever the fuck that is. So,
where's the brother-in-law supposed to come into this?
Well, the thing is, because he's dead, and because Sinclair is, being oh, I absolutely didn't do it,
They basically managed to pin all of it on him.
Yeah, and they kind of had to because they couldn't really get the details about the brother-in-law because he's dead and the guy wasn't speaking. So it's not really known if one of them took one girl up one way, the other one took the other one, or if they were both involved with each girl separately but dropped him off in different places.
I mean, if going from a logical standpoint, it would make more sense if they did the deed. If they did the deed together, killed the girls together, and then just drove them.
Knots.
Yeah, but if one guy had one girl and one guy had another girl, you know, they could be like in a house or something in different rooms, having their wicked ways, and then just pop the girls in 2 separate cars and drive them off to different locations. Because if they're in 2 different locations, there's a chance that they're less likely to be perceived as one murder.
I doubt it though, because obviously the girls were together. The men were seen talking to the girls, and it's not like they hid the bodies either.
That's true.
They were just out there in the open.
Maybe they both dumped them on their way to work or something.
Yeah.
It would explain the different locations.
Well, that's the thing, we probably won't know the details.
Does he just deny?
Yeah, he pled not guilty to the whole thing. Rape and murder.
I doubt that highly.
He did state that any sexual activity between him and the 2 girls was consensual.
I was going to say, let me guess, it was consensual.
Yeah, obviously.
Did he use the she asked for it?
Oh, no.
Praise Jesus.
Or at least he didn't say. But it said that he also said that if they had come to any harm, the person responsible was his brother. His brother-in-law. He pinned it on his brother-in-law, who's dead.
No honor amongst murderers, I guess.
Amazing.
Do it if he's dead. Do it.
Yeah. I mean, no one actually believed him. It don't matter anyway.
Fair.
But so Sinclair owned a Toyota Cavanet.
Cavanet, yeah.
That's a new word for me. At the time of the murders, that he had since, obviously it'd been like 30 years, had destroyed. So
of course he did.
No evidence can come from that.
No.
However, there was evidence of semen on one of the girls.
Ugh.
And then semen on the other girl was the same person. Matched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So semen from the same guy found on both girls.
Yeah, and it matched him. They'd even tried to do, just in case, like, people were like, oh, but are you sure, though? Are you sure, though? Are you sure? They had taken DNA samples from, I want to say, like, his sons, but it was someone else in the family.
Yeah.
And they were able to prove that...
It was a familial match as well.
Yeah, it was familial, but it didn't match the family members.
No.
It matched him.
Yeah.
With like a insane probability. I accidentally scrolled down then. So, funnily enough, and by that I mean it's not funny at all, Angus Sinclair was already a convicted murderer and serial sex offender at the time.
Oh, it's just piling up. It's piling up.
And actually, when his case first got linked to the World's End murders, he was already serving 2 life sentences.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And those were for murders that happened after the World's End murders. Yeah. It was also revealed that he had also served at a different point another prison sentence for culpable homicide. So, yeah, I can see this being the guy.
I can see this being the guy as well, shockingly.
So apparently his first conviction occurred in 1961, when he was 16.
So that was what? 12 years before the...
Roughly, yeah. And that was the culpable homicide of an 8-year-old child called Catherine Rehill, which he served 6 years in prison for. He sexually assaulted and strangled her, same cause of death. in his family home.
Oh, in his family home?
Yeah.
This boy.
But that was the same way that the 2 girls died.
Yeah, that was.
In 1982, so after the 2 girls have been killed,
Mm-hmm.
5 years after the World Ends murders, he pleaded guilty to 11 of 13 charges from everything from different types of rapes and indecent assaults committed against young girls, and was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, so for the World's End murders, June 2001, still in prison. Oh no, this is for a different murder.
Oh, God.
This guy is just a piece of shit. So in 2001, while he was in prison, he was sent to trial and given another life sentence for the murder of a 17-year-old, same age, Mary Gallagher, on a footpath near the Barnhill railway station in Glasgow in November 1978.
That's a few years after, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
13 months after the World's End murders. The teenager had been dragged into some bushes, sexually assaulted, had her throat cut, and then strangled.
I'm gonna say, it's gonna end in strangling either way.
Yeah. However, for the World's End murders, and this goes 2 ways because, he's already in prison at this point anyway.
Yeah.
He got acquitted.
Sorry, what?
Yeah. Despite the semen. Because there weren't, the people were just like, yeah, we just don't know if the semen's, enough. Maybe it was consensual. Maybe it was the dead guy.
I mean,
I
don't... in the standing of evidence, there is certainly not much there.
Yeah.
I completely, 100% agree that I think he did this, but at the same time, he's serving 2 life sentences already.
True.
And as much as this burns to say, it could have been consensual. However,
I can say this actually ends on a happier note.
Oh, great. Please tell me. Does he die?
No.
Oh, that's the same.
Well, I don't know if he has. Yeah, he has died since, I think he died in 2019 or something.
Of COVID. Excellent.
Maybe. Did say. However.
Oh.
14th of November, October.
That was my read. That was an interesting mix.
Sorry, 14th.
October, November.
I skipped a line there. My bad.
Okay.
14th of November 2014. He was finally found guilty.
Hey!
Of the murders of the 2 girls. Following the conviction, he was sentenced again to life imprisonment with a minimum of 37 years. So that means he would have to be 106 years old before he gets even considered for parole, which he wouldn't be.
He'd be dead.
And obviously, I think he died in 2009. Hold on, I do have it somewhere. Yeah, 11th of March 2019.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So
I have the photo of the pub, the 2 girls, and...
Of him.
Yeah.
God. That beard is astronomical. The brunette's cute. She's cute.
They both look a lot younger than 17.
They do. They look like 50.
Especially the blonde.
Oh gosh, she looks baby.
Yeah, she looks like she's still in school, man. But yeah, so that was the World's End murders. At least we got a actual conviction.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
At least the police actually had a suspect.
Yeah.
Incredible.
After 500. Yeah. So yes, that was a suggestion and recommendation from Daddy Dave.
Congratulations, Daddy Dave. That was a good one. Thank you, sir.
One with actually a happier ending.
With an actual ending.
I know.
Which doesn't happen very often.
It does not. But that was episode 24.
24.
The timings of the recording of these is messing with my brain.
Oh, tell me about it, right? We're recording this one in daylight as well, which is wild.
I know. So, hope you've enjoyed. That's been Becky.
And that's been Beth.
We've been BB True Crime.
Well, I've been ill, but yes.
Yes. We're recording a couple of these on the same day, so you still become very accustomed to Becky's cough.
I do apologise, but we need to get these episodes recorded. Real life happens.
They are after the episodes. I'm sure they'll deal with the cough. Yeah.
I'm too ill to even eat Tim Tams, Caitlin. It's very sad.
Anyone else will be like, A, who the fuck is Caitlin? And B, Tim Tams?
Tim Tams?
Tim Tams?
For those of you who don't know,
see the previous few episodes.
Tim Tams are banging biscuits and are available on Amazon.
Now we know.
Buy them. They are peak penguins, let me tell you.
But also don't support Jeff Bezos.
But Tim Tams, Bear.
I know.
Look, I don't support Jeff Bezos, okay, but some things are worth giving money to Amazon for, and Tim Tams is one of them.
I think Boris Johnson would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Boris says it's true, then it has to be true.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Right, so, join us for the next episode. We'll be looking into the case that's not technically a crime officially, but it's...
I'm kind of scared to ask how that works.
It's one that has my heart and just makes me sad.
Oh.
Depression. It's not brutal, so don't worry for anyone that actually wants to go in and watch it.
Oh god. We've had some episodes before where it's been like so like graphic and nasty.
Rip Junko.
Oh god, Junko.
My girl.
Where we just had to take like a pause break intermittently while recording it just to be like, shit.
God, went through too much that one. Oh lord. Rip Junko.
Rip Junko.
Alright, so join us next time. Hope you enjoyed this short episode. That was for you, Daddy Dave. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later.
See you next episode, peeps.
Bye.